Good evening, y'all. I'm SONTE, and
this is SHARNELL.
And this is
Call It Like I See It. You want to go first?
Doesn't matter to me. Tonight, we're talking about transgender children integrating into schools with sports and locker rooms and bathroom usage. How do you feel about that?
Now, first of all, we want to say that we're not homophobic at all. Everybody has their place. Now, how I feel about like with the sharing the bathroom things, me personally, I'm totally against it. I have nothing against transgender, no one. If we had girls' bathrooms, boys' bathrooms, I feel like we should have a transgender bathroom as well as ladies and men bathrooms out in the public. I feel as though that we should have transgender bathrooms as well. So it's not, our topic is not taken or to offend anyone. It's basically how we feel as though certain things are comparable and should be combined together. Everything has its own lane for it to be in. Mm-hmm. Like it was, I was reading something about a transgender boy that was, I think it was a track team. I could be wrong, but it was track. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he ran against little girl. At the end, he won. So I believe it's a case going on to appeal that because the little girl feels some type of way that she didn't really run against the same sex as herself. She ran against a guy, which should have been in the guy's lane. So once we read that article and we see that a lot of things that's going on, and we was going to start our show last month, but we was waiting for everybody to chime in to give us good topics to talk about. And this was like the major topic that people brought up that, you know, wanted us to bring it to the forefront to see how everybody else felt about it. Me personally, I asked about 6 little girls that's in the middle school, how do they feel about, you know, sharing their locker room with the transgender boy. And at first they was saying that they didn't have a problem with it because the boy want to be a girl, so they're going to look at him as a girl. Then the question came up as, would you get undressed in front of this little boy? I mean, transgender. And they said, no, I'll go into the bathroom. So I said, well, why would you go in the bathroom if, you know, you don't have a problem with sharing a locker room with him? And then they really didn't want to answer it. And I was like, no, tell the truth. And they was like, because even though he wanted to be a girl, he still had different private parts. So I would feel like a little bit funny. So that was a good concern. So what I liked about it was they didn't say that they was against transgender or wouldn't associate with them. It's just that they would feel very uncomfortable with getting undressed in front of them. And
I agree. My problem with that is definitely that undressed part in the locker room. Mm-hmm. I really you gonna laugh.
Yes, I am.
Gonna laugh,
I'm silly, y'all. All y'all that know me knows I make a billion faces and I laugh. I laugh when stuff is funny, and I laugh not to have to really say some of the stuff that I want to say. But since this is our show, Call It Like I See It, it's going to run.
My problem with that is definitely that undressed part. Well, what happened here?
Yeah, like, can we go on or we got to start over? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, my problem with that was seriously like when I first heard that that's what they was doing, integrating the locker room thing. The picture that came to my mind was my daughter in the locker room changing for gym, and a little boy is in there drop a sock. Oh, well, I'm sorry, I keep saying a little boy because in my mind, you're still a little boy. Mm-hmm. Period. Point blank. You was born with these parts. It is what it is. You can't change your genetic DNA makeup. You can't do that. It's no way possible. I can't play with him right now. But the first picture that came in my mind was honestly, if they go to put something in a locker, drop it, and they bend over and a penis fall out some satin pink panties. And my daughter's sitting there and she see it. I'm sorry, but that's just where my head came. You know what I mean? That's just I don't appreciate that. And I'm sure my daughter wouldn't either. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Like in my household, when your brother is, when you in the house with your brother needs to put on some sweatpants or some basketball shorts and a shirt.
That's right.
And when you come downstairs, as females, let's be honest, a lot of times a lot of females don't sleep in a lot of clothes. We sleep in boy shorts and bras or t-shirts, tank tops, whatever.
Right.
But when it's males around, even in the house with your own family, I was always taught that you have to cover up.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? You have to cover up. So I'm not okay. I'm not okay with you. I don't like, again, like she said, I don't have a problem with homosexuality, transgender, transsexuality, any of that things. I know a lot of great people that are that way.
Me too.
You understand what I'm saying? However, I just don't feel like, I feel like children's stuff is children's stuff and adult stuff is adult stuff. And why would you put a child in a situation where they got to be thinking like an adult?
Right.
If they, you understand what I'm saying? It's unnecessary, and it makes them uncomfortable. And a lot of times they don't know how to act or how to feel or how to treat a person. My thing personally, I teach my kids, treat everybody like you want to be treated.
Right.
If you see somebody having a bad day, smile and say how you doing, because they might change their whole outlook of the whole day.
Absolutely.
However, if you're not comfortable with something, I feel like they're doing it to make transgenders feel comfortable. I can't be mad at that.
That's why they should have.
However, you're making them comfortable. But in the meantime, have you talked to these other students before you said, okay, this is what we're doing? How do you know you're not making them uncomfortable?
Exactly.
It's always been, I go to the locker room with my girlfriends, and I go to gym, the gym showers with my boys. Right. What we gonna do now? What we gonna do? Well, they don't really do showering in school no more, I don't think. But
back in the day,
if you want a sports team though, sometimes that happens. You go to the shower room, you shower and change your clothes. I'm not having that. I'm not with it. I will homeschool my kids. I feel like if that's what it's coming to, they got to share bathrooms. Like, okay, a lot of times we just was watching Dr. Umar.
Right.
And he was saying how everything is balanced, the yin and the yang. He also said though that if a child goes into a bathroom and there's a man, a transgender there, right? Some people just dress and they're not gay or homosexual is what I should say is politically correct. I'm sorry. And they're not homosexual. Some people are men that dress like women. What's the rapper's name with the blue dress that model for Cowboy?
Young Thug. Young
a mess.
For my era, that's not what a young thug is, but in his era, that's what a young thug is now.
Young Thug trying to get some extra attention and try to boost up.
It's boosting his sales. I mean, it's a marketing strategy. However, how do you differentiate who is who?
Right.
If you can be straight and go into a girl's bathroom because you're dressed in your lace front, your eyelashes, and your nails and your heels. If my daughter's in the bathroom, I have a problem with that because it's not like you're a homosexual and you're not even interested in that sex. Right. You understand what I'm saying? I don't like it. I'm just not okay with it.
Well, shoot, some men can't even tell the difference to, with some transgender, females, but
shout out to Eddie Murphy.
But on the same token, even though we're discussing the male part, the
females too,
transgender male as well as the transgender female. How comfortable not too much comfortable, but awkward. It would be real awkward. I would consider awkward for a transgender woman to go into an all males bathroom.
And she might be fine with it. But then too, like
a guy might not be looking at her as, okay, this is my dude right here. The way some of these guys talk, they're gonna be like, look, I'm about to make her turn back into a woman. You know what I mean? Had those type of thoughts.
Or they look at, and a lot of times they look at it like you still got woman parts. Even though you sagging your jeans, I can still see your ass through the jeans. That's how they come in.
You can't hide your shape.
You understand what I'm saying? You can.
And then I don't think it's my personal opinion. A lot of transgender women that would probably really feel comfortable going into a regular male's bathroom unless they're with their male friends. Right. And then they know that if they go in there, their male friends is going to make sure that they're okay. But as far as, and I'm curious that if you in a casino and you see women and you see men and you dressed as a man, are you really going to go into that man's bathroom, or are you going to remember, like, I'm a female, so let me go inside this female's bathroom? And a lot of them, I could be wrong, may feel like I'm going to go in this female's bathroom because if I go in this male's bathroom, I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know if I'm going to be safe. You feel what I'm saying? So all that
is a major issue with this whole situation, even with the kids in the school.
I was ready to go back to
a major issue. I feel like safety should be the first thing that they looked at, because not for anything else, but for the child that's going as the transgender into the restroom.
Right.
Children are mean. We all know
Absolutely.
that. Children are mean.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they don't even think that they're being mean. They just brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
And you may hurt somebody's feelings by something that you say, which causes a fight.
Right.
Which causes somebody to get jumped or dragged, or it's a lot that goes on in the bathroom because you don't have security in the bathroom. Let's be real. When we was in school, where did we cut class at?
Mm-hmm.
To the bell ring. To the security guards went where they went. We went to the bathroom. That's where everything happened. You smoked your weed. You had your little drink. I remember.
They stand on the toilet stuff. You look under the stall to see some feet. Ain't nobody in there.
Right. So I mean, like it's a serious issue. It's a safety issue. It's a comfortability issue with the other children. It's a lot going on with this topic, and people just need to speak their mind. How do you feel? Like, would you want your child to be involved in something like that? Would you homeschool them, or would you leave them in the school? Like, what would you do?
And my thing is, again, not to offend anyone pertaining to it, and I'm not homophobic, believe me, and I have some transgender friends, and even helped out a couple of them pick out outfits and do their hair, and took the first one to go get their eyebrows done and stuff like that. So I just wanted to put it out there because I don't want nobody to feel as though that we're transgender bashing.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're saying that by you being a transgender, that, and they want y'all to have the same rights, and you should feel comfortable in the skin that you're in. If they have female bathrooms and they have male bathrooms, then they should have a transgender bathroom. So therefore, whichever one you feel comfortable to go in, which you should really just go inside the transgender bathroom, because when you go inside the transgender bathroom, you either going to find some transgender men that's going to be females as you. It's going to be some transgender men females that want to be men. So y'all not going to be interested in each other. So you're going to go to your own stall, and your own stall, you're going to do what you need to do, and you want to get up out of there.
I feel like they present a problem with finances. And anytime finances come into play, people start looking at things a lot different.
Exactly.
You would have to spend the money on the transgender bathroom. And then you have to think about it. Okay, well, we need new jerseys and shorts for the basketball team, the football team, because now we got a transgender team.
Yeah, and it has.
And then wait,
it got to be.
Not for nothing.
Yeah.
How many transgenders go to one school? You can't have a whole team.
That's right.
At one school. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
And for you to throw it in a mix like that, the way they did, like what school was that? I mean, what district? Egg Harbor Township, I think it was.
I'm not quite sure.
Or adopting this. I think it was Egg Harbor Township that's adopting this. I think. Not really sure. However,
but there's a school close.
Yeah.
My point is, me personally, all my daughters is grown. I do have grandchildren in the schools, and the middle school children that I asked were friends of my granddaughter, and I asked them how would they feel. They have no problem with being around them, which I would never try to make it like it's some hate or some stuff like that. No, right. we love everybody, right. But it's a place for everybody. So therefore, still you can laugh, you can joke, you can play on everything else like that. But when it comes to something intimate, then it has to change. And when I mean intimate, meaning you going in the bathroom or you going in the locker room where you're taking off your clothes or you're being exposed. I don't feel comfortable with a transgender male changing with one of my grandchildren or other little girls. Right. I don't feel comfortable with that. It's the same as transgender women going in the locker room with males, and then they got to change with the males as well as going to the bathroom. So that's my problem right there, because children shouldn't be exposed to everything. And sometimes exposure works their curiosity to make them wonder, oh, well, maybe I should, or why they do it. It makes them curious.
They're trying to make society accept everything. And I feel like the reason that they're trying to make homosexuality, transgender, transsexual, all this stuff so acceptable when throughout history it has never been, because they're trying to control population. And they're trying to make everybody feel like this is okay for you to love your sister like this, or you understand what I'm saying? They're trying to make it okay so that you don't reproduce.
That's
and
right.
People are going, it's like, it's a fad. It's like, you like a girl, so I'm gonna like a girl too, or you like a guy, so I'm gonna like a guy too. And it's like, we're what happened to morals and all these things come into play that nobody's really talking about. And you got to talk about these things. And as far as the children go, I just really, I'm just, I can't even say it. Like,
Go ahead, come on. Call it like you see it, sis. Come
I
on.
ain't with it. I just ain't with it.
And
like,
you don't have to
because you putting the idea into my child's head. I'm not, you understand what I'm saying? Don't give my child an idea what you think is okay.
Right.
Because that's not how I was raised. And I, not for nothing, I'm not perfect and I'm not high and mighty or above nobody, but I just don't agree. And it's not going to be acceptable to me or in my house. However, I'm not going to begrudge you your choices. I'm not going to begrudge you anything that you are doing for your happiness, because I feel like this. At the end of the day, the goal is to make sure you're straight, your family's straight, you're happy, and everything that you got going on is good for you.
And you're safe.
Right.
It is safe, because you have some people out here, especially with all this body snatching and all this other stuff going on, and you don't want, you want to be safe. So you don't want to be putting yourself in a position whereas though, whether it's a transgender male or transgender female, whereas though you get some cocky person of the same sex to try to sit up there, especially with our children, to try to overpower them, to say, okay, well, since you want to be this boy here, and the next thing you know, with the child and got raped, and now they're going through stuff like that, and vice versa with a female, a male looking at the female to himself, okay, she want to be a boy, but she look pretty as a girl. Let me show her some. I'm bring her back to where she should be at. A lot of our children are defenseless. So if they come against someone with this type of sick mind frame,
right,
then our children is at risk.
You know what my question is too? You know how when you go to a job, they tell you, okay, if you're at work and Bill cracks a joke, a sexual explicit joke, that's sexual harassment.
Yeah, right.
Think about this.
Right.
The kids say whatever is on their mind.
I know my grandkids.
They probably all related to one of us. But listen, they do. They just say whatever's on their mind. And if a kid is, they're going to make fun of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, you know what I mean? Like, how do you deal with that? I feel like the bullying aspect is going to go through the roof.
And that HIB report, which is when it's bullying in school, that is going to go to the principal, to the superintendent, it's going to be a whole clash.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's a lot that they just haven't thought it all the way through. And I get it that you want to make everybody feel comfortable, but that doesn't make everybody feel comfortable.
Right.
That makes some of the children feel uncomfortable.
Or make them feel like they fit in.
Right.
Which, nothing wrong with fitting in. The whole thing is too, especially when it comes to the school, that they have many bathrooms in there.
That's the problem.
So with
everybody trying to fit in.
Yeah.
When you stand out, that's how you get the job.
I know that's right.
For real, when you stand out, it's 100 people outside the room coming for the interview.
With the same stuff.
With the same suit and tie on. I'm not saying don't come dressed prepared for an interview, but I am saying that you need to be different.
Get that
you
money,
need to have something different that's going to stand out
to
from
make
everybody else. So everybody know we're not all
see
going to
this
fit in.
person.
And that's okay. And we have to tell our children that it's okay that we don't all fit in. We don't.
That's right.
Nobody fits into a perfect mold. Everybody's mold is different. And you got to make sure children know that.
Baja Ali says, it is our place to teach our children right from wrong.
Absolutely.
And to address the school board on your concerns. And they put those bathrooms are available at ACCC.
What bathrooms? The transgender bathrooms?
Yes.
I heard about it. I sound like a
I wasn't there when I was there.
I sound like a Bahija. My point when it comes to the bathrooms, because we really, even though we're broaden our whole conversation, but our major thing was basically on like the students, but it's just a big topic. Like you can't really pick a certain area to stick at. But I'm gonna take it back to where we start off at as far as the school system in the schools. They have more than one girls and boys bathroom. So if they're gonna adopt this into the school system, then they should have at least one transgender bathroom, whereas though they're not going to the bathrooms with the rest of the children. And if they can't afford to do a separate locker room, which Pleasantville's broke as heck, then they need to give them allotted time to go in there and prepare themselves for gym or for whatever they need to prepare themselves for. So they need to have an allotted time where they can go ahead and get themselves together instead of combining them together. But I do agree with what you're saying, Sister Bahija. I do agree. But look, and then too, you have some families that have the same sex as mother, but call mother, father, you know, however it go, have the same sex. So when raising their children, they may, you know, like it's okay, you know, so it's kind of, this is a crazy topic. Somebody picked this topic for us. So this is a crazy topic. So we're trying to address the topic and see how people really feel about it, as well as y'all posting questions and asking questions and calling in. This to give everybody get a chance to read your question. It may give people something to think about, as well as having some type of answers. Right. But everybody should be treated fairly, whether you girl, boy, transgender. But we just want people to be safe and comfortable and have your own comfortability. Like if we made a girls and boys, so the girls could be separated from the boys when using the restrooms, then we need that third one, so therefore they can have their time, or make a allotted time that if, especially in the school system, if a transgender girl or boy needs to use the bathroom, then I guess we have to send security there to make sure that the bathroom's clear so they can go in and go use the bathroom. But then that's going to bring more attention to them. It may make them feel uncomfortable. Right. Like, which way do we go with this? Do we have some extra calls calling in? They called in?
No, but I do have a question. My question is, with the whole transgender thing, considering that transgender and transsexuals are completely the opposite. When it comes to transgender, is it a situation where it's more or less, I mean, like she said, to one extent, a fad?
Right.
You know, like, okay, granted, they knew that this kid was a boy.
Right.
From the start.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you already know the basis of this child's status.
Right.
However, okay, there's nothing wrong with them having that equality, but at the same time, if you can clearly see that this man is just dressed as a female, right then and there, that should, I guess, it should be a line where it's like, you know what, okay, listen, you're okay to be who you are, but this particular situation is going to morally affect people who are on the outside looking in. Correct. You know, considering that we know blatantly you are either a male or a complete female. Because we're not talking about transsexuals, because transsexuals would be the complete opposite.
Yeah, with the body
transgender is when somebody relates to the opposite sex. Transsexual is when you actually had
a whole operation to change your sex. So we're not talking about, we talking about transgender, not the transsexuals.
Right.
So we're not talking about them. And I know a lot of them as well. So, and then the ones that I know I love to death, you know, so I don't want nobody thinking that we're sneaky bashing no one. We're not doing none of that. And if any transgender or transsexuals want to tune in to just give us your point, tune in so we can, you know, speak for you, ask you, like, you know, we're not gonna put you on the spot, but even if you want to sneak in, like when I say sneak, because a lot of people don't like to be up front sometimes, even if you want to inbox one of us a question or something like that, we will not say your name if you don't want your name said. Right. But we will bring up your point, because this is not based on one thing. This is based on people that have a problem with transgender sharing locker rooms and bathrooms with the children. It has nothing to do with them communicating, laughing, and joking, none of that.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that at all. It's just about the safety and the mindset and the influence that can be carried over to our children. But
with the education status, I'm gonna get to that. That's y'all kind of addressed it already in the beginning, actually. Okay, so I do have a call that just came in, and the question was the education status in reference to going back with the school kids being transgender, and how does this affect the learning? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about a school year, and I'm just opening up the question that was asked, because she just asked basically what would be this education. How does it affect the education status with the other students, or just the school period?
Well, we all know children play a lot in school. I was like a social butterfly in school. I talked to everybody.
I was a comedian.
Yeah.
I hung out with the boys that cracked jokes, and they got in trouble, and I act like it wasn't me.
Right. I mean, children, they say things and they do things, and it takes from any lesson. It's just like if you have a kid in school who finishes their work. Now, this child might be really smart, finishes their work, get 100 on every paper. Prime example, my son is like that.
My brother,
my son,
Malik Skills. Shout out to Malik Skills. Malik Skills used to do that. When the teacher come in, you know how they write the lessons on the board for the whole day?
Yeah,
my brother Malik coming in and do all the lessons in an hour. Straight A student. He was accepted into Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm sorry, I jumped in on it. At Fairleigh Dickinson, and had a whole lot of time to play.
Right. My son is like the prime example of that. Like, he's smart as a whip. Can do everything that he does do, he'll get nothing less than an 80. But once he's done, it's like he's playing with his phone. He's doing this. I'm getting a phone call. Your son is. I'm like, Samara, what's going on? You know what I mean? Kids will distract. That is going to be a distraction, because you're going to have the class clown, like you said. You're going to have the class clown making fun of the transgender girl or boy that comes in. This is so uncomfortable for me. Not really uncomfortable, but it's just like, I want to say the boy or the girl, but I don't want to be rude to anybody. You know what I mean? Kids, it's going to be a distraction. It's going to take away from the learning.